Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So I felt like participating in the Birgit Koopsen Gelprinting Challenge for 2022. I had done it a couple years ago, and that's really when I found my love for jelly plating and discovered all the sorts of interesting things you can do with the jelly plate, where it sort of started my journey. And I thought I didn't participate last year, I didn't see it. So this year I wanted to participate, but I'm running late because I'm filming this on the 4th and I haven't done any of these prompts yet. So I thought what I'd do is a video for prompts 1 through 7 this week. And if I get a chance, I'll do the next week another video and so on. So for this week, we have something from the kitchen is number 1. So what I did is I found a couple things. I found some old Twizzlers in the closet, and they're hard, so I broke them up and I glued them onto a piece of cardboard. So we're going to try that. The other thing from the kitchen is I found this honey, and I'm not going to use the honey, but this tab. When you buy 3 together, you get this tab. So I'm going to use that tab on the jelly plate. One side's a little bit sharp, so I wouldn't use it that way. I wouldn't use it that side down. I'd use it this way. So we'll try that. So that's kitchen. Next thing is hot glue stamps. So for my hot glue stamps, I've done 2 different ones. This I used a wax seal stamp, I guess. And I only have this one. I hadn't played with it yet, so I thought, well, this might be an interesting way to play with it. So to try to get things as level as possible, I did them individually on a piece of cardboard, peeled them off, glued them onto this foam so that I can sort of press them in together, and then glued the foam onto a piece of cardboard. So I'll probably insert a video about me making those stamps above. It was a bit of a learning curve, and I haven't tried them, so I don't even know if they'll work. So as a backup, I also did a just freeform hot glue on a piece of cardboard, and I pressed it down onto a silicone mat, which actually had a bit of a texture. So we'll see if that shows up to make it flat. You can see how it's pretty flat, so it should make a good impression. Next is handmade stencils. So for that, quite a while ago, I'd made a page with an elephant, and when I made that page, I made my own stencil for it. So I'll link, I'll put a little card for that video up there if you want to see how I made this stencil. It's just using an X-Acto knife, a picture from unsplash.com, and just some craft paper and X-Acto knife. So that's my stencil. And pill strips. So I have, where'd I put them? Some allergy pills and some Gravol kicking around. I just put my own little handles using painter's tape. So we've got some different sizes there. So that should make some interesting textures. And number 5 is something from nature. We're just starting to have spring here, so I don't have a lot of foliage to pick from. I have done quite a few botanical prints on the jelly plate. Here's some samples. If you want to check out one of my videos, I'll link those at the end of the video here. Gelliprinting from nature, and a lot of that was inspired by my friend Kathy Arbor. So if you want to see how I did those, you can check out the other video. The other thing from nature I thought would be cool would be some feathers, and I didn't really have a chance to find any feathers, so I'm just going to use some that I bought from the dollar store. And number 6 is cotton buds. So I found this V-shape piece of plastic from, it's like a dry cleaning that they put in collared shirts to keep them straight. So I just used a hot glue gun to glue a bunch of cotton buds, we call them cotton swabs, onto this. I thought that might make some interesting little textures. You can just use a cotton bud to just sort of draw on the jelly plate too. I'll try to remember to do that. And number 7 for this week is random found object. This empty cartridge from my printer I thought that might make some interesting little patterns. We'll see if what that does. And also this silicone, it's a brush cleaner, I think. I had found that from the dollar store a long time ago as well, and I haven't used it. So some of these prompts I've done similar things, but I'm really trying to use new objects that I haven't used. So for example, it's like something from the kitchen. One of the things I like to use a lot is placemats. I have like a ton of placemats. I showed them in my craft room tour. So those are fun, but they're not, you can't really put them back in your kitchen afterwards. So I thought we'd just try some different things. So without further ado, let's get to the Gelliplate. I'm going to use mostly my 8 by 10. I might use my 5 by 7 a little bit. We'll just see how it goes. So I'm going to put this on first. I've had a few trial runs. Some have worked, some have not. Just a second. I'm going to try to put that on straight. It's a little bit harder now that I've used it a few times, so it's a little bit bent. So I'm going to put that on. And the nice thing with the Gelliplate is it really, you can get it to hug your stencil, even if it's a homemade stencil. Just making sure. So the tail's a little bit off there, but that's okay. Actually, yeah, that's okay. And then I'm going to put this down too, get his ear. It's paper's getting a little bit thicker because it's got more paint on it. So hopefully it stays well enough. This. So I'm going to try to use something from each category of our prompt list. And this paint is almost done. This purple, but I like this purple. It's nice and dark. So let's roll that on. So I'm going to go towards the center to start because, like I said, it's getting a little bit so sometimes I'll put paint down and then put a stencil down and then lift up sort of an impression. But this is another way you can use a stencil, is you can put your stencil down first. Okay, so I'm going to put my feathers here. I'm going to put this down and I'm just going to use do some spot pressing. And pull that off. And then I'm going to use my hot glue here. That's kind of cool. And what else? We're going to use this Epson printer thing on his ear. And we'll use our hot glue stamp that we made from the whatchamacallit, the wax seal. Let's off stamp it here. That's kind of cool. And I think I'm going to add my other Gelliplate. Just going to add a little bit of purple. that. And I'm going to use, actually here, let's use one of the pill. I turned it over because I liked this impression better. So let's do that. It's kind of cool. Do another one, a partial one there. And I'm going to add some of the stampage back there, but let's just roll out a little bit of purple paint. So sometimes our ideas don't work the first time. But that doesn't mean that we have to give up on them. So I'm pretty happy with that. Just stamp that off here. So I'm going to let that dry. Maybe I'll use just a plain cotton bud to give him just a little bit more of an eye there. Maybe we'll do like that. That's cool. All right, so let's lift this up. And I'm still going to let it dry a little bit more. Oh, wait, no, we don't want to do that. I want to, whoops, that's the good thing about the Gelliplate too, is you can actually put things back if they're registered. I wanted to put some gold or metallic on there first. I might take this little section off though, because I want the elephant to be all gold. Let me just cut that. That's just held on with a bit of painter's tape. So we're just let that, that was my bad there. Okay, so we're gonna let that dry, and then I'm gonna put some gold, and then we're going to add some more details with our other stamps. Okay, so it's pretty dry. I'm gonna fill it in with some iridescent bronze. Roll that on. Oops. And now we're going to let that dry. Now we can peel off the stencils safely. So if you've been watching Birgit Koopsen on Instagram or following that hashtag on Instagram, you see lots of different ways people can make stencils. It's fun to buy stencils. I enjoy buying stencils, but it's also fun to create your own, especially if you're just starting out and you don't want to spend a lot of resources on that. Okay, so now we're going to let that dry, and then we're going to add some more details. So that's pretty dry. So I'm going to add a bit of background texture using some black paint, just a craft paint. I'm going to use my small Gelliplate to load up my items that I'm going to use as stamps. So let's use our licorice first. So I've decided to do the background with a pan pastel, and in this coloring book by Kirby Rosanne's, I had done this gorilla page, And I thought the pinks and orange and green would be a nice sort of sunset background to that elephant as well. So we're going to do that. And I'm just going to use the soft tools, sort of the big applicators. And if you don't have pan pastels, you could just use paint to pick it up, or you could use makeup as I've described in previous videos. So I'm just rubbing off. So I'm just going to start with the green. And we're just going to, so this is dry, the paint's dry. You wouldn't want to do this with the paint wet because then it would get your soft tool all wet, all dirty. So I'm just going to block in just sort of some abstract green colors just in a random, even though it's sort of square looking, that's okay. And then maybe a bit darker, like more of a teal. And then back to the lime green again. And as I've mentioned in previous videos where I kind of do this technique, is then one of the nice things is that this paint that you use to pick this up will seal in the pan pastel, so it won't rub off. You don't have to add a sealer on top of that. So I'm pretty happy with the grass area. Now let's do a bit of orange and pink. Just rubbing this off. And these pan pastels are highly pigmented. They are a little on the pricey side, but I feel they're worth it. Even if you just bought like a primary set, you could just get away with just some basic colors and you could do a lot just with that. What did I want to do pink on the top. Oh, well, I guess I'm doing a, oh, I got talking. I guess I'm doing a random, so I'll do just orange here and then I'll add more pink. So that's sort of a pinky orange on the top, I guess. Too funny. I don't know how certain people like Dee Dee can like stream and talk. It's really hard. I find it hard to say what you want to say. All right, and then let's do some pink. Try to get more pink on the top there. And even though I'm getting a little bit on the elephant, that's not really going to show through too much because the gold is going to be in front of it. So again, the layers are backwards on the Gelliplate. So whatever's down first is what you're going to see on the top of your print. I'll just put a little bit of pink into there to just kind of blend it just a wee bit. And let's just do a little bit of orange. I think it was on here. Yeah, it was on here. And you can wash these. I haven't yet, but perhaps I should. They're looking a little ratty. Okay, so, and it's dry. It's a dry medium, so you don't have to wait for it to dry, but I'm just going to put my set away. I have two sets, well, I have two containers. I bought 2 sets of 20, which gave me some duplicates, and then I bought some individual ones to round out my collection. So that's all the ones I have, and it does have some nice gold and bronze. So I'm going to pick this up on this paper here. It's a linen finish ivory, just like a copyweight paper, but it has a nice texture to it. And I think I'll use white to pick it up. I want a really brilliant, I don't want to pick up anything dark because that'll dull down everything. I want a nice bright background to show through. Oh, that's probably too much, but better too much and you can roll it off than too little. So just gonna do that. And yeah, it's way too much. I'm just gonna pull off just a little bit. I don't want the paint too thick. Just want to be able to just kind of see my colors through. All right, so let's put this on and we'll give it a good rub. Make sure you get those corners. And then my handmade rubbing tool. Handmade, my hand accumulated. So one of the things I like about Birgit Koopsen's challenge is that it really gets you thinking outside the box, just getting creative. And this technique here is more of one pull print type of thing, but you can do layers. You can just do backgrounds and then add collage on top. Really with Gelliprinting, the possibilities are endless. All right, so you can see some of the pan pastel still on the plate, but that's okay. There's enough on here to give us a good impression. Cool. So I'm happy with my elephant. You can see, let me get a clean part of my hand here. Here's my finger. So not very much of that comes off. It's pretty sealed in there from the paint underneath it. So that's my print for today for week 1 of Birgit Koopsen's Gelliplate challenge. Just give you sort of a close-up view of all the different textures we created with those items that we found around the house. I think what I'm happiest with in terms of new discoveries is using hot glue and these wax seals to make your own stamps. So like I said, I only have the one, but I think I'm going to order some more now that I know how to play with them. And I'm just going to show you one more thing. So you can see there's pan pastel on there. There's a bit of an elephant. I'll just show you. It will pull up more color. I mean, this won't be enough to give us a full image, but just to show you that. See, you got some paint boogers on that brayer from the paint. So there is, you can do more than one pull with the pan pastel, but it won't be as vibrant. I think this white paint's nearing its end. It's got lots of little boogers giving us chicken feet. All right, let's just pull it up with some graph paper just to show you. So this is one way to clean your plate, although likely we're still going to have a little bit of pan pastel on there. So there we have, you can still see. So you could go in and you could draw an elephant. You could use the stencil even to draw it, or you could just doodle in there. If I do that, I'll show you a picture. So to clean up the remaining pan pastel, I just use a little bit of good old-fashioned baby oil. You can use mineral oil. I had baby oil in my house already, so I do like to try to use what I have. And I'm just going to spread it around. And this will condition your plate a little bit too. So I'm just going to spread that around. Then I'm going to use a baby wipe to just wipe off that pan pastel. And it takes a little bit of elbow grease. And a couple passes, and then I just turn it to where my baby wipe is clean. Get a new baby wipe. Put a little bit more baby oil. So there we go. So that's all clean. There's our elephant that we did today. And please do all the YouTube-y stuff. Please like, subscribe, share, and look forward to seeing you all again. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.